Okay, welcome everyone to the Wallets Overview Special Interest Group Ask Me Anything for Thursday, October 17, 2024. This is the Open Wallet Foundation, and this is an Open Wallet Foundation Special Interest Group. And we thank Mirko Molik, who is the chairperson for this special interest group. As with all Linux Foundation meetings, this is held under the Linux Foundation Europe competition policy. Examples of actions that are prohibited at LFEU meetings and in connection with LFEU activities are described in the Linux Foundation Europe antitrust policy available at the URL there. If you have any questions about these matters, please contact your company counsel, or if you're a member of the Linux Foundation Europe, feel free to contact Gesmer Updegrove LLP, which is counsel for the Linux Foundation. And our code of conduct is in place. Can best be summed up as be excellent to each other. This link will take you to the code of conduct. I'm going to share all the links that we have in this presentation in both the Zoom chat for the folks who are live with us, as well as in the YouTube description below. And real quickly, the wallet overview SIG has 4 main places for organizing right now. That may expand in the future as the SIG grows and evolves. But we have a mailing list. This URL again will be in the chat in the description below. We have a Discord. This is where the extemporaneous discussions are happening in real time. We have GitHub, which is where all the real hard work that has gone into this special interest group has been happening. And we have meetings, and we're sitting in one right now every other Thursday. 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. CET. There is a link there which will take you to this meeting information, and you can find out more there. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to our SIG chair, Mirko Molik. Thanks, Mirko.
Thank you, Sean, for the nice introduction. So I will get the screen and show what is in this special interest group. So it all started with the wallet and agent overview, and we expanded it. So first, we also updated in the last month the overview of it, where we can go in, where you can right now have the access to over 71 different wallets and agents. So in the case you want to filter this overview, this is possible that you, for example, say, okay, please show me only the wallets that are open source. Since this is an Open Wallet Foundation project, we are not demanding that every wallet or agent here is open source. So here you can decide it. Then also you can filter, for example, is it a cloud or an edge wallet? The capabilities, if it's for issuer, the holder, or the verifier, and then also interested in the whole topic, is this capable with different parts? For example, which credential profiles like AnonCred is supported, which key management is supported, because sometimes you say, okay, for my key management, I have, for example, the AppC, and please show me only the wallets or agents that are compatible with this technology I need for my use case. By the way, when you have any questions, either write them in the chat or raise your hand. I will try to answer or to give you the word as soon as possible. When you notice this overview right now, you will see a little warning here. And this is because we saw that some entries get submitted to this project, and then we have a JSON file. And it can happen from time to time that information will change. So in this case, we see that the URL website changed. So normally when I would go there, I could get a not found error. And to avoid this, we have constantly checks in the background that will check if all the links are still valid to guarantee a smooth interaction with all the stuff. And like you see, we have not only the table, but also an overview of the whole wallet, which helps you to give a better detail of the different technologies that are supported. or, for example, reference case studies or dependencies where I come later to. In case you want to contribute a wallet entry or an agent entry, you have to submit some JSON via GitHub. But for this, we have a formula that you can use. So here you can enter all the required information, and in the end, the JSON will be automatically generated for you. So the only thing you have to do is to download the file or copy it to a clipboard, open or fork the repository, submit the JSON file, and start a pull request. And in the background, also the GitHub actions will evaluate if all the entries here are valid, or if there's, for example, dead link and so on. And when everything is green and some of the moderators have reviewed your proposal to validate that everything is correct, we will merge it and it will get added to this list. Same goes when you have updates for your wallet or agent. For example, you are supporting in your credential format, you are just forking the project again, edit the JSON file, and then give it a pull request. And yeah, this happened for a lot of wallets and agents already. And yeah, so this is the main focus of this overview. And when you see, for example, here the BC wallet has some interesting stuff because it has linked dependencies. This means that for projects or relevant dependencies can be linked in this overview to give others the chance to see what dependencies are relevant in the whole ecosystem. And again, we have this overview. We have different names. For example, here are 3 different dependencies right now. These are also relevant. These are also present in the Open Wallet Foundation. For the dependencies, you can reference different licenses. The only requirements when you are submitting it is like give us a URL, and then everything is fine. But here you could also fetch different licenses and so on. And again, you have a filter. For example, okay, my whole project is written in TypeScript. Lucky for you, all the current dependencies are supported. But in case we have Python dependencies, etc., you would be able to filter this to exactly get the dependencies that are aligned with your license that you have used, for example, Apache or GPL and so on, and of course the programming language. And the interesting stuff is here. So normally you say, okay, when you have submitted the dependency, you can make an entry into each wallet or agent entry. So the tool will automatically link this like a relationship. So for example, I can see here the overview where we could directly, for example, go to the repository on GitHub, or I could directly join the community. In this case, it's a Discord link. I get the same information I got from the submission. We're also fetching some updates from GitHub to show you or to give you some information. Is this repository still active or not? Because nobody really wants to work on archived or deprecated projects. So here we are getting the latest information from the latest Git ones. We're also fetching the README file. This is the same that you are getting on GitHub, but for a nicer overview. And then, of course, here you can see all the different wallets that have already that are already using this dependency. As mentioned, this is not a requirement, so you can still say, okay, I want to submit dependency, and later people see, okay, this is relevant, I want to link this to my wallet, or I want to use it. So yeah, and of course for every page you have the share buttons in case you are one of the contributors or you want to easily share this information with anyone else out there, you can do so. Yeah, and then we would go to the last feature that was introduced, and it's called case studies. So we first see, okay, we got a lot of wallets submitted to this overview and agents. And now we said, okay, we can also link the dependencies. So we can see on which this is built up, so which tech stack is coming. And Sean asked me, where did it all start? Well, it all started in the Netherlands and I think in Finland, where Maike and Samuel, also the FindiNet or NTNO, made research over all this and made an Excel sheet and then pushed it to GitHub and then contributed it to the Open Wallet Foundation. And then this group, so the wallet and agent overview and the credential profile overview, SIG, work together to align the approaches, saying, okay, everything we are collecting is machine readable, so it's JSON schema based on on GitHub, so that every project is able to reuse the information and use them for own purposes. And as I mentioned, the last feature that got added are case studies. So a lot of people ask, okay, we have this overview by wallets. We maybe see on the Apple or Play Store how many downloads it has or how many downloads have the Docker container of the agent, but we want to know where is it used. So for this, you are able to propose or to add case studies. Again, same approach. You have the formula, you can give it a small headline and then also a summary. So the idea is that you are not copy pasting the case study from your website where you have published this, but you are just referencing it. So you have the URL and maybe you're adding a small abstract and so on. So when people come to the site, they know, okay, there's a new case study. And I can interact with it. So here I would have this small summary of it. I could click directly to the web page to read the full case study. And the author or the contributor is also able to tag the case study, because some people are, for example, more interested in seeing where are the wallets used, for example, in the use case battery passport or in the pharmaceutical use case. So we are able to give tags to case studies. So in the future, when there are hopefully dozens of case studies, you're able to filter by the tags and so get exactly what you want. You're also able to link a wallet or an agent to a case study to see, okay, which software or which company is involved, and then also the different stakeholders. In this case, Serity work together with RCS, and this will give you more information about the different activities on here. And what is also interesting or also relevant when you say, okay, I don't want to update or I don't want to go to the site every morning to see if there's a new case study and so on. We have connected it with a newsletter, and the idea is that on the first of each month there's a GitHub action that will grab all the new case studies that got submitted and will send out a newsletter or an email. So on the first of each month, so around in 2 weeks or so, you will get a notification in your email box showing, look, these new newsletters, these new case studies got submitted, so you can see what is up in this, in the whole ecosystem around here. Subscription is for free. Of course, you can unsubscribe if you see you're not interested. And we hope to get the first active contribution of case studies so that we can be a neutral overview over all the activities that are out there in the field. So yeah, this is my current report. I think I haven't give any time for questions, but I see Sean raised the hand. So, Sean, the stage is yours for you.
Yeah, thank you, Mirko. This is a great overview. Would it be possible for you to take us back to the overview and just pick one wallet and take us from left to right through the different features of this table? Just so,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
sure.
That, yeah.
So normally this is the overview, the classical table overview. So you could say sort by name or company, whatever. And then we have the more generic information, like what is the logo, what is the name of the wallet, and what is the company behind it. In some cases, they have also provided links to the company site. In some cases, they haven't. Then, as described, we have the different types of wallets. It could be an edge wallet, so it's an app installed on the smartphone, or it could be a cloud wallet. Then the case, is it open source or not? Because this is for some people relevant to pick a specific wallet or agent. License the same to be legally compliant with all your legal stuff. Capability, is this, for example, agent, does it have only issuer capabilities or, for example, also verifier capabilities or both, or maybe even holder capabilities? Portability, also, for example, can you extract all your data like credentials or key material from the app, like a backup, and transfer it to another app or agent? Then in case when we have a direct link to the Apple Store or Play Store to download the app, or in case it's a web application to the website, then described we have the different dependencies that can be linked. And in case there are case studies, I think we have only one down here. Yes. So Severity, you could see, okay, just show me the wallets that have actively linked them. And then we are coming to the connection with the the credential profile overview, where we say, okay, we have the different profiles that are supported. So in this group, we say under a profile, we see a specific credential format, a specific key management. So this can be linked. And then also different credential formats, like how the credential is represented. Famous is, for example, Anocrats, or also the VC data model. Then we also have the different protocols for issuance and for presentation. Unfortunately, I cannot really scroll here. There it is. On a Mac, it's quite difficult. Okay, so we have the issuance protocols. We have also the different key managements out there, and then also the protocols for presentation, different signing algorithms. And when I want, for example, to get more information about this, for example, okay, here I have CL. What is CL? I will be redirected to the credential format comparison group, and here I would have the more information, like, for example, okay, what is the implementation support? For example, does it have recognition by governments? Does it have hardware support? So here we have the direct connection to get more information about it. And yeah, at the end, we have support for status management, so for revocation. And last but not least, we have the trust management that is supported.
That is
Okay.
awesome. Thank you. And it's very comprehensive. My next question is, there are a number of columns in this really wonderful public resource. What are features that don't currently exist that you would like to see? I know you mentioned at the start of the AMA, here's all the new things, but are there any sort of wish list items that or like backlog items that, we really want to get to have a column for this or a resource for that? Like, what are the features of the functions that you'd like to see in here as it evolves?
So, for example, there was a new issue yesterday about the compatibility, there is a project in the Open Wallet Foundation for the Arias harmless test framework. So in general, it will help to show which agent is compatible with which wallet. For example, I could say here, because this is all self-mandated, so every company is able to say, okay, my wallet is supporting Anocrats or is supporting verifiable credentials. But it would really help to have some kind of attestation. For example, okay, this wallet ran the open test and was compliant to specific ones. So this was one of the feedbacks that you can see. For example, I'm clicking on this wallet, the GV wallet, and I know, okay, it's an Edge wallet. So with which wallets or agents is this one compatible? This would be one stuff. Yeah.
Outstanding. That's very cool. And for those joining us, the Aries Agent Test Harness project was accepted by the Open Wallet Foundation. Gonna say 2.5, 3 or 4 weeks ago. We're currently onboarding all the projects that came over: Occupy, ASCAR, which is storage, the DIDCOM mediator service, and we're renaming the Aries test harness to OWL Agent Test Harness, OWL Agent Test Harness. And that is in the process of having those repos moved over. That's a really great overview. Thank you.
Yeah. And as you mentioned it, Bo, I will tell you next. The Occupy will also join this overview. We had some discussion about it. What is for us a final agent or wallet? We had the discussion, for example, with Bfold. Bfold is more an SDK to build wallets. So there we said, well, this is more a dependency. But when talking, for example, of Occupy, that can be deployed as a Docker container. So from our side, this is a ready to be used agent. So the Occupy will also join this list, hopefully in the next days. And I think then the company would be the Open Wallet Foundation, since it's a project from us.
Awesome.
Oh, I see a raised hand, so
Thank you.
it's yours.
Yes, I must say I admire your work here, and it gets better and better all the time. So thank you for that. And as you maybe remember, Samuel Rinnemäki is driving these cases in Finland, and the most important one is the Social Security, which has adopted the Vault ID wallet for as a issuer, and the Helsinki Traffic as a verifier for the pensioner credential. That was astonishingly easy to take into use. Obviously, the integration to the backend system is the next question that you need to address, and the question in my mind is perhaps that should we, on that note, think about how to classify wallets, that this wallet is easy to integrate to SAP, this wallet is easy to integrate to Oracle, and this wallet is easy to integrate to whatnot. I'm thinking aloud here, as you can hear. And that's one question. The next question would be, when Europe is now speeding up, especially I would say Germany and Italy, got an unofficial medal here from Germany for being so active, that should we have a list also of the state-issued wallets, or should we stick only to these that are issued by the market? Maybe that's an irrelevant question, but the next question there is that when EU will start to give a go-ahead for market wallets, that's obviously a top interesting thing. You already have a place for this where it is, so to say, acceptable in Europe. But should it actually be, it will take some time before you have these member state specific approvals in place, but it might be very interesting in any case. And then as a final point, obviously we should be able to get the reference from the Finnish Social Security at some point, but to promise those references should be very sexy to all these commercial animals around here. So I would hope that we can make a big number of that once the letter is out in a week's time or so. So that was a beginning. I have many more questions, but let's stop here before it gets too long.
Okay, I hope I got every question right. Let's start with the first one, with the integration one. Surely we can do this. Our main goal was all the time to make the comparison values or criteria very objective. So what we don't want to integrate is like, okay, how good is the user experience? Because this is a very subjective approach. But sure, for integration one, it could be interesting. There we have to find out, okay, what are the different systems, whatever, that are interesting for the people to work, to align with this. For the second question, are government wallets interested? I would say yes, because it is a wallet out there, and since this wallet is not so it is in a closed approach. For example, the certified EUDI wallet in Germany that got attested and used there can only be used for the German citizen, but it can used for millions of people. So from my point of view, it would be worth to integrate it here, because we have a supported profile, which would be, for example, MDL or SDJOT, for example, or the HYPE profile. It is open source, which is a good one, and there will, of course, be more information and also case studies to see, okay, Germany is using the EUDI wallet, but in which use cases is this used? And for the last questions, you need to give it, please, again, because it was a bit much.
Okay, we can perhaps I try to recall which one it was. In any case, just coming back to your first answers here, in a way, as every organization in Europe obviously must have a wallet. That is the very clear message from the European Commission nowadays. They start to understand that the organization wallets are the very key to get data to move ahead. And when we talk about this here, that okay, that's fine, but how big a work is it to integrate it to our backend system, which is sending these credentials and which is receiving those credentials for verification? So there is a kind of a social pressure to start asking the SAPs and Oracles and SAS systems where to the wallet should be glued. That which wallets do they think that have been done already, you might say, because when you do it to version 32.2 of SAP once, it should work all over the globe with the same version, obviously. So this is a kind of an eye-opener to those people who are so worried about the cost of integrating the wallets to the backend systems. So I'm just throwing this up into the air, and it's not anything that you have to do kind of right now, but let's keep discussing that as I meet no question almost every week from those that I'm telling that they must have organization wallets in place right away. And then I forgot my last question there, but it will come here. Let not me take up all the time here.
Thank you, Bo, very much. So I can agree. I think for the ones that are, so we have wallets here that are for holders and in the cloud. So it should be the wallet for legal persons. And I totally agree. There's a huge market to, yeah, to deal with. So hopefully the list will increase in the future.
Yeah, if I just if you could have a clickable list that SAP approved wallets for argument's sake, or SAP supported wallets, or whatever. It's loose talk now, but let's come back to that later on. And now I remember my general observation at the end was that the use cases are very, very important, and hopefully Germany now will do this. And I'm very happy that you said that the state-issued wallets should be here. Of course, my thinking, and I've been throwing this around in social media, is that if a state is actually going to issue a wallet, they should pick them from here and take them then as a white label or whatnot, because to start building it on their own is just reinventing the wheel. But that's not, of course, they want to have, often the states, they want to have the source code and so forth. So it's not a trivial issue at all. I'm not sure that Apple is going to give the source codes to European states.
Let's see how it will go. So at least Apple is in the list here right now. So we will see how it's developed. And it is out of Europe already used together with Google in terms of government. And yeah, let's see how it goes in Europe. I would also love to have some kind of, since I'm from the European Union, to have some overview or some European map to see how everything is evolving in the EUDI race or requirements. But of course, this is not limited here to just Europe, where we have some focus, but also what's going on in Africa, Asia or America. Eric, you have a raised hand.
Yes, thank you, Mirko. This is very helpful. And sorry if I missed it because I came in a little bit late, but what's the criteria for getting on this list? How did all of these wallets get on the list? Do they have to be participants in the Open Wallet Foundation? Or is this just a collection of wallets that someone has decided should be in this list?
Every wallet that is dealing with digital identities. So for example, the classical banking app you are using for two-factor authentication or just viewing your transaction would not be dealt with the list because it's not for the use case for identity or credentials. But for all the other companies, they don't have to be in the Open Wallet Foundation as a member. They don't have to participate. They don't have to be open source. They don't have to be based in Europe or so. So when you're saying you are based or you have a product that is, or an agent that is dealing with the open wallet or with with verifiable credentials or digital identities, you're open to submit a pull request with your wallet and get into the list.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and Eric, this is Sean. I'm OWF staff. This is
Yep.
list is a public resource. It's been crowdsourced by the community, both before it was a special interest group at the Open Wallet Foundation, and now anyone can add to it. So if you've got a wallet or a project you're working on, you're more than welcome to. In some cases, you'll see that we've got wallets on here that are reported but not added to the list by the creator. And in some cases, it gives us as a team an opportunity to reach out to those creators to say, hey, there's an entry on this list. Would you like to update it? Would you like to claim it? Would you like to make sure that the details are correct? And then you look at something like the BC wallet, which I know the folks at British Columbia, I'm sure they would look at this today and say, hey, there's a new thing here. We want to make sure we've updated that field. And so anyone can participate. You do not need to be a member of the Open Wallet Foundation. You do not need to be a contributor to the Open Wallet Foundation. but we are looking. We really, as staff, see this as a public resource for everybody, as well as the credential format comparison SIG, which is doing something similar but on credential formats.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you also, Eric, for your question. And also our goal was not to prioritize anyone. So it's not that you can, for example, buy your first place in this list. So here we said, okay, normally lists are sorted by name. So of course it's starting with the letter A, and also for the newsletter approach, because we know when you're reading an email, you will not always scroll to the bottom. So there we say, okay, for now, okay, it's based on the date the case studies got submitted, but maybe we will go to a shuffle approach to make it fair. But there's no way that you can transfer money to me or any other moderator and increase your chances to get a better rank. All right.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a great resource, and I recognize, a lot of the wallets there. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So also in case, what we have also done is creating some analysis over the data, for example, calculating how many wallets are open source, how many are capable, and so on. This would also be an interesting feature for this overview. But when you say, well, you want to do some other fancy stuff, all the data is in the in the GitHub repository that is open source. So here you have all the wallets included. And then, for example, let's just use this one. You can download the wallets and then do your analysis, etc., whatever you want to do. Same for dependencies and the case studies. So the main goal was to make every resource we are using public available to gain the trust of the providers that are submitting their information to us, and also that all the resources or the code, the algorithms we are using can be reviewed, and to highlight that we are not in favor of any specific provider or so, to increase the chances that this will be the overview of wallet and agents out there. So yeah. Yeah, Bo, one more question.
Yes, I'm thinking about in this morning's technical meeting with Findy, Samuel mentioned that there are some plugfests and things like that on their way, and I failed to take note, can't find it, where interoperability between wallets will be tested. And the question, that's obviously a very important question now, especially in Europe, that which wallets are interoperable with which wallets and which are not. Do we have that information here in what kind of basic form, and should we, again, a loose question, think more about that?
So I think you are meaning that there's a Dutch event, I think next month or so. This was the one. Would be also interested to add it to the newsletter so that people get aware of these events.
Good.
Yeah, sure. Sounds like a good idea.
Okay, fine. It's of course early days to say which wallet is interoperable, which wallet, but obviously it's a question that will be basically the whole idea should of course be that, at least in Europe, that every certified wallet must be interoperable with the UD wallets and so forth. So that's a starting point here.
Yeah. So I hope this, so my dream would be that there's some kind of end-to-end test every wallet has to pass before they roll out a new version to guarantee the interoperability. This would be my dream. This was also the feedback we got at the latest IIW, that a lot of people said, well, I don't want self-claimed states. I want a test suite that run by, and I can see that the wallet passed all the tests to be OpenID Connect compliant and so. And we were like, yeah, this would be cool if there are automated tests out there. But unfortunately, these tests have to be developed by people in their free time. So this would also be interested when somebody like the harmless test is working on this ideas that you can say, okay, I have a test suite that is publicly available and that can be used to boost interoperability in the whole ecosystems.
Perfect. Let's go that way. Probably needed.
Okay, maybe some information in 2 weeks would be the next meeting. I think I have to skip it. For you or anyone that is at IIW, you have the chance to get the same presentation or close to it at the IIW, but in person. So yeah, and as Sean posted, this video will also be on YouTube in case you have missed it, and also older sessions of this special interest group are also recorded and are available on Open Profile. Yeah. Sean, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I do have a question. Mirko, what does this special interest group need? What kind of help? What kind of contributions? How can the Open Wallet Foundation community and someone watching this video on YouTube later on, or maybe discussing it at IIW, what would you ask of the audience? Like, how can we help?
Yeah. So in case you are a wallet provider or an agent provider and you haven't seen your entry in this list, of course, it would be the best that you submit the entry. Or in case your entry got outdated, like some of them are here, you update it and also enter the missing white fields. The same goes for dependencies, because this group does not have the time or the resources to scan GitHub to search for potential dependencies and so on. And the same also for the case studies. So when you are involved in a case study and you say this is very relevant, and also you want to boost or you want to use the size to give you a bigger audience or so, this would be very helpful if you contribute the stuff. And also, for example, when you say, well, I have a new criteria, for example, you say, okay, for dependencies, we need another criteria for to compare them, because this is very relevant for the ones taking decision. For example, dependencies need an audit review for security checks and so on. Same for the wallets. For example, is it relevant that companies are ISO certified and so on? So people that are on the one hand questioning the criterias we are here using and challenge that, and of course about new features of implementation. Like I mentioned, the analysis overview and so on, all that have new ideas, what we could add to this overview. Like Sean, you posted it, we have the bidirectional meetings here, but in case you have a great idea, you can always open up an issue on GitHub or come directly to Discord and chat there with us. Yeah, we also have a mailing list. For now, there's no activity on it, but I hope, for example, when there will also be information about interesting event like the interoperability, Plugfest events, etc., we will also use this communication channel, to spread the information.
Awesome. Thank you, Mirko. We've got about 11 minutes left. Does anyone else have questions for Mirko? This isn't Ask Me Anything, but if you've got a question, we don't want to lose it. All righty. As we mentioned at the start, this is being recorded. It's going to be posted to YouTube. The links that I've been putting in the chat will also be in the description of the YouTube video. Mirko, I'm going to share my screen for 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
If I can actually get it. Oh, thanks, Eric. Thank you for joining us. So real quickly, getting involved. I mentioned it's on the links above. Let me do this. You all can see my application. Come on. There we go. The mailing list, the Discord, which is where in the moment conversations are happening, the GitHub, which Mirko's been showing us, is coming directly from the GitHub section for this special interest group. And then the meetings. We would not have this meeting in 2 weeks because it is during our Internet Identity Workshop, and most of the people who would attend are going to be at IIW in a session having identity fun geekiness. It's going to be great. But the meetings are happening every other Thursday, 7 a.m. PT, 10 a.m. ET, 4 p.m. CET, and we need your help. We can get involved in the mailing list. You can get involved via Discord. You can get involved by GitHub or the meetings themselves. We are looking for input, for examples, for new case studies. We're also looking for folks who are willing to help out in this special interest group and help Mirko both get the word out about what's going on here, but also get, update and improve this public resource, which we are incredibly appreciative of all the work that Mirko and the team that originally contributed put into it. It really is something that we think y'all should be proud of. It's great work. And lastly, thank you. Thank you for showing up for this Ask Me Anything. Thank you to Mirko for taking us through this wonderful overview of the special interest group from the perspective of staff at the Open Wallet Foundation. We're going to be spending a little bit more time getting the word out about this SIG, working with the existing Open Wallet Foundation projects. There are 24 of them right now to make sure that they're properly represented in this data resource, and also sharing with the overall Open Wallet Foundation community what's going on here. And we're pretty excited about that. And with that, Mirko, any last words before we end this Ask Me Anything?
No, I was quite good. Maybe in case when you say, well, you want to participate, but the current time slot is not fitting to you, just reach out. And in case there are multiple people wanting another time slot, we can update this slot. So yeah, just reach out with everything, every question, every criticism you have. That's all.
Awesome. Feedback is welcome. And thank you again, Mirko. And thank you all for joining us. This has been the Open Wallet Foundation Wallets Overview. I'm sorry, the Wallets Overview Special Interest Group Ask Me Anything for October 17, 2024. And thank you again, everybody, and have a great day.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.